Found guilty of attempting to cling on to power following his 2022 election defeat. Prosecutors say that included plans to assassinate his opponent, current President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. And this video shows the moment rioters launched the attempted coup in Brasilia in 2023. 4 out of 5 justices on the Brazilian Supreme Court panel voted to convict the former leader in the landmark case. Defense lawyers for Bolsonaro now have a chance to appeal. The case drove a wedge through Brazilian society between those who, on the left, who saw it as a crucial test of the country's democracy, and many on the right who dubbed it, quote, a witch hunt. Brazilians remain divided over the historic conviction. Have a listen.
We are here today in Brasilia to express our sense of justice over Bolsonaro's conviction. This is a feeling of patriotism towards our country from those who truly defend Brazilian democracy.
I think the condemnation is shameful, to be quite honest. I think it's unfair.
Stefano Pozzebon has been covering Bolsonaro's trial. Some two voices there, Stefano, clearly divided. But it was interesting what we heard from one of the strongest justices that we know, of course, who said yesterday, Alexandre de Moraes, he said, talking about Bolsonaro, he tried to annihilate the essential pillars of the democratic rule of law state, the greatest consequence of which would have been the return of dictatorship to Brazil. And that would have shaken Brazilians to the very core, Stefano.
Yes, Isa. I mean, it's been less than 24 hours since the former Brazilian president has been found guilty of attempting a coup d'etat and being sentenced to almost 3 decades in prison. And already that sentence is being hailed as a historic one. It's making history. Another of the justices that we heard from yesterday was the Justice Carmen Lucia Antunes, who was the one who cast the decisive vote to convict Bolsonaro, the third vote out of a 5-people majority. And I also have some words from her. She said that nowhere in the world, no place on earth has complete immunity against the virus of authoritarianism that creeps in insidiously, distilling its poison to contaminate freedom and human rights. Perhaps it's also worth taking a moment and pausing and understanding how close Brazilian democracy went to be overthrown by that violent attempt of a coup d'etat from Bolsonaro and 7 others former members of his cabinet, including 4 retired generals. Moving forward, of course, I think there are 2 outstanding questions. The number one is how will Donald Trump, how will the White House react? We have seen in the past that Donald Trump did not shy away from imposing sanctions against Brazilian exports to the United States, 50% tariffs against those exports in retaliation for what he calls a witch hunt. Of course, 2 of them, Bolsonaro and Trump, are really close. They were enjoying a positive relationship when they were both serving the country as president during Donald Trump's first mandate. They're members of the same political right-wing populism that we're seeing taking more and more support in recent years. So that is one aspect of this story we're very closely tracking. The second aspect of the story is will this sentence spell the end for Bolsonarismo? Will this sentence spell the end for right-wing populism in Brazil? Or who will be there to pick up the baton, the legacy of Jair Bolsonaro, given that now, even if his appeal is successful, he is still barred from serving and competing for public offices. Among the people who are rumored to be running in next year's election would be Tarcísio de Freitas, who was the former infrastructure minister, but also Bolsonaro's own wife, Michelle Bolsonaro. And we've seen in the past that Latin American countries have a feeling for the wives or the spouses of former heads of state to run in their behalf. Of course, Evita Peron, as we know it everywhere in the world.
Yeah, and Eduardo Bolsonaro said he expects the US to apply further sanctions against officials, to which the Brazilian foreign minister replied, just to give some context to our viewers here, he replied on foreign minister on X saying, threats like those made today by the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio will not intimidate our democracy. So that relation very much the one for us to keep our eye on, of course, as you clearly stated there.
Absolutely.
Stefano, thank you very much indeed.